As we approach the holiday season, we expect there will be a lot of online shopping going on. I'm here with Sabit Abbasi with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and he has some tips for us for safe online shopping and home computer safety. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everything that follows. A lot of holiday shopping is going to be happening soon. Can you give us some tips for securing your home computer and beyond?
Now, in terms of securing your home computer, that's something that we tell people to do it year-round, but especially during the holiday season, making sure the software, the virus protection, the malware protection, that's up to date. So before you go purchase things or do a ton of shopping, making sure those software are up to date and you've run the scans on your computer so that there aren't any viruses that were installed near the holiday season where people might be trying to push out viruses more to infect your computer. Or even email attachments and things of that nature. So just being vigilant about those things and protecting your computer.
And with the malware protection and other services, I know you can get some that are free, that are, or some that are reasonably priced. And can you have them automatically set to update every so often?
Yeah, so that might be the difference between a free version and a paid version. Free versions may allow you to have it installed, but they may ask you to manually update and manually do the scans. But a paid version, it may provide you settings where you could set it up automatically. But even then, I would not rely on automatic features because sometimes viruses can go in there and disable those. So I would, personally, what I do is almost every week or every time I need to make a purchase, maybe a day or 2 days before, I go in there and run the scans because sometimes viruses look like antivirus software, and they may act like antivirus software, but they may really not. They may just be deceiving you. So it's really important to go in there and check those settings.
Okay, how about as far as if you have kids using your computer as well? What are some things you can impart when they're using the computer to make sure they're not doing anything that might accidentally get them into trouble?
Sure. Now, depending on how old your kids are, your children are, there are kids mode. You can put the computer or the tablet or your cell phone in kids mode. That will limit a lot of the other things like installation of apps and things of that nature. But even then, educate your children, talk to them, and explain to them about visiting certain websites and not visiting certain websites. That way they know that if they go to a certain website and they click on a link, well, what could that potentially open them up to? And installing any apps and software that may look legitimate, that may a common app that is known to share viruses and cause problems is like flashlight apps. It's free. You download it for a flashlight, but now you've exposed your phone to a lot of different things. So things of that nature, just talking to your children and finding out exactly what they're installing, and if they are, then making sure even on your phone, smartphones, they have virus protections on there. They have scans where you can run on your phone. So your phone, if it's infected, it'll detect that. So teaching your kids about those things and those technologies is really important.
Okay, let's talk more about smartphones. I think maybe many people think their smartphones are safe since it's not your traditional computer, but smartphones are connected to the internet just like any other computer.
Yes.
What are some ways you can make sure that your smartphone is safe?
Essentially, a smartphone is a computer. Nowadays, with smartphones advancing so much with technology, you're really carrying a computer in your pocket. And some of the things that you apply for your computer at home, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, you can still apply to your phone. Having virus protections, having a keypad lock on there, so if you leave your phone and someone steals your phone, it's password protected, it's encrypted, so even if you were to lose it, no one is going to be able to access it. And then also there are apps available where you can remotely disable your phone and track where your phone is. So if you were to lose it, you can remotely access it and see where your phone is. So there are a number of apps, a number of ways you can protect your phone. But I would first start with the manufacturer and see what software they've already pre-installed on your phone. Sometimes they're free, they're already installed, and you can make use of those and utilize it to the full extent that you can with the software.
Okay, now you talked about setting a lock password for your phone. Can you talk about passwords more generally, like for your home computer, for different websites, or ways to keep yourself secure?
Now, passwords, we always talk about creating strong passwords, but what does that really mean? Strong passwords, it really depends on what website you are visiting, because some websites have specific criteria that you need to have X amount of characters, special characters, X amount of length of your password. So it really depends. But some things to keep in mind are maybe using special characters. Maybe use words that are not necessarily found in a dictionary. So maybe using a sentence and chopping the sentence off into different phrases and using that as a password. And that's something that I do. Instead of using a word that's found in a dictionary, I make up a word. Or I speak another language, so I use a word that's in the other language. That way, it's not necessarily found in the dictionary, and it makes the password more secure.
But not using things that would be obvious to guess. Or your
Obvious
name,
to guess, your names, birth date, your pet's name. Children's name, because chances are, if you know that information, someone else may already know that information also. Your friends or other people who may have that information. One other thing I'd like to add about the passwords is if you let's say create an email account, make sure that you set up a password recovery on there. There are a number of emails, number of websites where you can set up recovery options. So let's say your password is compromised. You can go in there and reset the password, and only you know how to reset it. And sometimes the questions are general, but even then, I would not set up the recovery option to be something that everybody knows. What's your favorite car? What's your favorite, what high school did you go to? Some of those, a lot of other people might know also. So if they are able to go in there and recover your password, well, now they've got access to your account. So just going in there and making sure it's unique to you and what you will remember.
Or I know some of them you can have like a text message sent to you or another recovery option.
And that's the thing. There are a number of verification purposes. For my bank account, that's what I do. I have a two-step verification. So once I log in on the computer, it sends me a text message, and then I use that code and enter it on the website and then gain access. That just allows you to know that, okay, someone's accessing the website. So if I'm not the one accessing it and I get a text message, then I know, oh, someone tried accessing it. So you could set up those features. So that's something I really encourage people to look into. I know it's more work, but it will help you out, in terms of finding out ahead of time what's happened with your account.
Now, as far as having your smartphone, doing banking and things like that, what about Wi-Fi? Is it safe to use Wi-Fi if you go to a local coffee shop or somewhere else?
Now, personally, I wouldn't use Wi-Fi that's found at local coffee shops and things of that nature. However, if I'm at home or if I'm somewhere, at my relatives or something like that, then yeah, I can go to the bank's website or something like that. However, going to a coffee shop or airports and things of that nature, I would avoid using them because it's easy for someone to gain access to your computer, especially in a public setting. You're connected, your computer is now exposed on that network, and they can access basically anything that's on your computer.
Okay.
The passwords you type in and all of that. And actually going back to the smartphones, Bluetooth, that's something that's a feature on many smartphones. What I would recommend for that is when you're using it, turn it on, use it, and then turn it off. But let's say, the reason for that is people can easily hack into that system and basically pull data from your phone. So if you're connecting to a Bluetooth device, maybe making your phone non-discoverable so other people cannot find your phone, and creating a strong password again so that when you do link those devices, they're linked with a strong password. And only use it when you really have to, otherwise turn it off.
Are there ways to protect your own network at home if you have a router or something like that?
Yes, so part of having a Wi-Fi connection at home is having a router that's connected to the internet. But obviously, if your router is connected to the internet and someone gains access to that router, now they can do whatever they want with your internet connection. So, having a router is great for your needs, but making sure it's password protected and removing the default passwords, the default administrative password that they contain. And even changing the name. Most routers, they broadcast their name. It's called the SSID. Maybe disabling that so you're not broadcasting and only you know what your router's name is so you can connect to. So that's a really important thing to do is, it sounds simple, but it's effective. You could disable the router name from broadcasting and you can connect to it. And again, creating a really strong password for that.
Is there anything else you can think of to help prevent identity theft and other online-related crimes? Yeah,
so we're talking about computer protection, smartphone protection, but also just common sense and being vigilant. When during the holiday season, you may see the upcoming holiday season, you may see more scams happening. People are victimized for whatever reason, and so it could be as simple as when you're going shopping, not leaving your purse or something or your phone in the car where it could be easily stolen. Or if you're carrying cash, maybe not carry as much cash. And if you're carrying credit cards in your wallet, maybe only take the cards that you really need for the shopping instead of carrying all of the different credit cards. The less you have, the less someone who's stealing that will be able to take. So that's something I would say is be mindful is what information you're sharing and keeping track of that.
Okay, is there anything else you think we should share as far as cybersecurity?
I think we talked about identity theft, and that really ties into all of this. Protecting your home computers, protecting your smartphones, protecting, making sure your passwords are strong. But all of this information, it's also about who you're talking to. So let's say if you're giving your password out to someone else, or if you're texting the password to someone else, and who has access to that information. Maybe they're overlooking your shoulder and they're able to see it. So being vigilant in regards to that. And we have more information on our website. It's protectdupage.org. So all the stuff that we've talked about and more, we have that information on our website for residents to actually go in there and look at specific tips and maybe even look at some of the examples. There are links, there are websites where you can generate passwords. So if you don't know how, or if you need help creating a strong password, there are free websites where you can go on there and they will help you create those passwords for you.
So just to summarize some of these tips you've given us, you want to always make sure that you have security software and that it's up to date on your home computer. You don't want to open any email attachments unless you know who sent it and what it is. Only download and install software from companies you know and trust. Talk to your kids about safe computing. There are lots of good resources online to help you with this. You want to make sure you change the name of your router. Make sure it's password protected too. And don't assume a public Wi-Fi hotspot is secure. With your phone, you want to make sure that you have a PIN or a key lock code and set the device to lock after a few minutes of inactivity. You can also set Bluetooth to non-discoverable by default. And you can also install security software on your phone. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing these tips with us. And I think this will give everybody some tools to have a safe and secure holiday season.
Hi, I'm Sabit Abbasi with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we're encouraging parents and residents and children, everyone, to be prepared and use strong passwords and practice good computing. For more information, please visit us at protectdupage.org.